Hey everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another card making video. Today I'm using the new my monthly hero kit for September from Hero Arts, and we're gonna make a bridge card. First, we're gonna take a closer look at the kit and the rest of the add-ons for this month. So let's take a look. There is a 4x6 stamp set with this large gorgeous sunflower in the kit. There's also a coordinating fancy die. There are two fancy die, like sentiment dies, and there are shadows that say hello and thanks. And there are 5 stencils for layering. So this will make it very easy to color those large, gorgeous sunflowers. Also, there is ink blending brush and little cubes, ink cubes that come in the kit. Here's a sample that I had on my blog just a couple days ago. So let's look at the add-ons. This is the Autumn Leaves Fancy Die set, and I have here a piece of half sheet of A2 letter size cardstock. Next we have the Autumn Messages stamp set. Then we have the color layering pumpkin. We have marigolds. The marigolds also have coordinating dies. Then we have the Hello Autumn, which is sentiment stamp set. We have Hero Greetings Halloween, which is a mini stamp set. We have also the color layering chipmunk that comes with coordinating dies. We have Fall Leaf Stencil. We have Hero Lifestyle Scarecrow, Autumn Branches cover plate, and we have these beautiful bold prints that's called Leaves in the Wind. So let's get started. Here I've pre-stamped a bunch of the sunflowers, and we're going to use the stencil to add some color, and also show you a different way how to do those. If you have an ink that would bleed when you apply any of the inks to color this, you can first do the stenciling and then stamp on top. So I'll be using mostly reactive inks, and I'm starting with the Lemon Drop Hero Art Reactive ink. I am positioning the stencil. This is the first layer for the flowers, and I'll secure it with the tape. On the corners you will see little squares. Those are kind of marks for layering, registration marks. So when you have, I'll just show you in a second, when you don't have already stamped the image, you can use those to layer all 5 of the layers. So here I'm adding it to an 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock, and I'm just ink blending that Lemon Drop Reactive ink. So right now it looks like nothing, but in a little bit you will see how that builds up. Next I'm going with the second layer for the sunflowers, and those are very easy to position even without the registration marks if you're using the image that's already stamped. Next I'm going with Creamsicle, and I'm adding more color. Since there is a separate layer for the centers, you don't need to add much color in the center, but you can if you like. So here I'm matching those registration marks, and I'm adding that orange. Okay, you see here how it starts to build up. Okay, next I'll use the Key Lime Fizz and Green Apple for the leaves. So I'm positioning the first layer for the leaves, the first stencil layer for the leaves, and I'm adding the Key Lime Fizz. I'll do the same for the other piece that I have here, it's purely stenciled. Okay, next what I'll do, I will do the centers. I was gonna do first the second layer of the leaves, but that stencil has both the centers and the leaves second layer. So after I secured that, I decided to pull it off and add the centers before going to that layer. So for this one, I'm using dye ink. I'm using Kappa Joe. I'm adding to the centers of the sunflowers. So when we add those centers to this only the stencil piece, you'll see how much difference it makes. So they're already looking like sunflowers. Okay, we're gonna do the fifth layer and the last layer. For this one, I'll add two colors. So I'll use green apple, and for the centers, I'll use the Licorice Reactive ink. Okay, so that panel is done. Now let's do the other one. Starting with the center, since I have that ink pad already opened, and then I'm going with green apple for the second layers of the leaves. Okay, so you can see here the difference. One image is softer than the other. You can leave it as it is, or you can stamp on top. So I'll show you how easy it is to line up that outline stamp on top and stamp after you have stenciled the image. So I have that. I'm positioning it on top, just moving it, picking it up with my the lid of my MISTI tool, and then I'm using Intens-ified black ink to stamp it on top. I'll do it one more time. You have nice and saturated black. So we have it done. Now what I'll do is I'll use the coordinating frame cut and cut that sunflower out. Then we're gonna move to putting together the bridge card. So by magic of YouTube, I have already die cut that. Here is few other flowers I've done, pinks and blues. Okay, now let's start putting together that bridge card. I'm cutting piece of chestnut cardstock that measures 5.5 by 5.75. In a little bit you will see that I changed my mind, and instead of chestnut I decided to use sand. So I'm scoring it at 3/4 and 1.5 on each side of that 5 3/4 side. I'm just folding it. We have valley and a mountain, and then the sunflower will go on top and hold that bridge together. Okay, next I have missed a piece of cardstock. I'm cutting it to 5.5 by 2 3/4, and this will slide inside the card. So here I thought the chestnut was too dark, so I changed my mind and I switched to sand cardstock. First I'm trying that sand in the middle, it looked even more darker. So I'm just cutting another piece of 5.5 by 5 3/4. Scoring the 5 3/4 side at 3/4 inch and 1.5 inch on both sides, and creasing those folds, sliding that missed piece of cardstock inside. So next I decided to add a little bit more interest. I pulled out one of the sentiments from the stamp set. I'm using the clear embossing and watermark ink to stamp all over that piece of cardstock. I started from the center and then just going up and down. So we're almost done with this piece. Okay, so we're gonna slide that in. And we have that sunflower on top. I think that looks pretty nice. Next I decided to use the glitter paper, the fall pack, and I'm using, I think this one's the bronze, to cut very thin strips that I'll add on the sides of the bridge, and also I'll die cut that hello sentiment. So I die cut 3 from chestnut and 1 from the glitter paper, and I die cut the shadow from Vellum. So I'll stack those up. I die cut 3 of the chestnut, but I decided to use only 2 and save the last one for another card. So I'm just adding some of the Hero Arts Precision Glue, which is very strong adhesive, and making sure that those 2 layers line up. I'll put acrylic block on top to make sure that that dries nice and flat. Now I'm adding adhesive on the other layer, other die cut. I'll adhere that on top as well. I apologize if you hear grumbling noise in my background. There is a very bad thunderstorm. So again, I apologize. So I'm adding adhesive on the back for that insert that goes in the middle of the bridge. Next I will add adhesive on the strips and add those to the sides of the flaps, for lack of better term. I'm just making sure that they're nice and straight. Okay, so next we can adhere our sunflower. So we're gonna put adhesive only where the sunflower touches those flaps that are on the very top, the highest points. Before that, I'm adhering that hello sentiment to the shadow, the vellum shadow. So I'm folding the left side and I'm straightening the right side. So this will ensure that when we put it in the card, in an envelope, it will lie flat. So then we can just hold it for a few seconds until that glue dries a little bit and stays put. Okay, so we have that one. Then we'll add the sentiment. So I'm just adding again liquid adhesive, the Hero Arts Precision Glue on the back, and adding it to my card. I'll add acrylic block so that dries nice and flat. Next I have a piece of cardstock that measures 8.5, 11.5 by 2 3/4, and I scored it at 5.5. So I'll adhere this on the back of my card so you can use it to write your message, because the card does not have much space to write your message. And I think that finishes our card for today. Here I have an envelope that I just grabbed at my desk, and you can see how it fits nice and snug into that envelope. It flattens out and it's ready to go in the mail. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to visit my blog for more ideas and more inspiration, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe for my YouTube channel so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye!